Hi everybody, this is Dr. JW Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. JW Surveys just released this story. We might read it, eh? JW Survey, giving a voice to the silent majority. Jehovah's Witnesses, let's just move that. Elders fined for failure to report child abuse. Watchtower settles with Delaware. Jehovah's Witnesses in Delaware paid $19,500 in fines for failure to report child abuse. On January 18, 2018, attorneys representing Jehovah's Witnesses signed a formal settlement agreement with the state of Delaware, concluding a historic case in which two elders of one congregation were held responsible for withholding detailed knowledge of a sexual relationship between an adult and a 14-year-old minor. Now, this could set the precedent across the world for what's going to happen to these people. This case is unique, profound, and will likely set a precedent, yes, for other states. According to the terms of the settlement, Jehovah's Witnesses paid a total of $19,500 to the Delaware Department of Justice, and the body of elders from the Laurel, Delaware congregation was required to attend the Stewards of Children's training program and pay associated costs. A third requirement mandated by Delaware included the signing of an affidavit stipulating that Jehovah's Witness elders must comply with all Delaware statutes involving the reporting of child abuse. Among the itemized requirements, the coordinator of the body of elders, William Perkins, agreed that communications with minors related to the matters of abuse would not be treated as penitential confessions. This is significant since attorneys for Jehovah's Witnesses attempted to claim clergy privilege as their defense for failure to report. Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? On January 26, 2016, Justice Mary M. Johnston threw out Watchtower's motion for summary judgment. Johnston pointed out that the elders' sworn statements suggested that the victims and the perpetrator did not seek out the elders for private confession, which is the basic definition of penitential confession. The case formerly called the State of Delaware versus Laurel Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Joel M. and William Perkins, was filed November 9, 2015. It was brought by the Delaware Attorney General's office following the discovery that 35-year-old Catherine Carmen White had been arrested for engaging in at least 40 incidents of sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old boy. Both were baptized members of the Jehovah's Witnesses, so this is an offending woman. Deputy Attorney General Janice Tigani became aware of this case from police reports which had been filed in 2011. The mother of the 14-year-old victim contacted local authorities. A warrant was issued for Catherine L. Carmen White, who was arrested on 10 counts of third-degree rape, continuous sexual abuse of a child, and endangering the welfare of a child. Carmen White is currently incarcerated in the Barlow Women's Correctional Institution of Delaware, serving a 6-year prison sentence. Neither William Perkins nor Joel M. contacted the police. That must be the elders. Instead, both elders initiated internal Jehovah's Witness judicial proceedings which resulted in the disfellowshipping of both Carmen White and a victim. Despite his age, the victim was considered a willing participant in the consensual sex acts. The repetitive nature of these sexual encounters was the foundation for disfellowshipping by action of the church. Delaware sets the example, they sure do. Until now, the national epidemic of child abuse has been brought to light primarily through the efforts of mainstream media and numerous documented civil lawsuits. Such cases have resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements against the Catholic Church and Jehovah's Witnesses. Hundreds of millions. The religions most notorious for their mishandling of abuse allegations. While individual states have codified laws penalizing mandated reporters for failure to report child abuse, almost none have brought charges against clergymen or elders. Tackling religious organizations is often seen as trampling the First Amendment rights off these groups. According to Deputy Attorney General Tigani, the Delaware case was about to go to trial when Watchtower lawyers opted for a private settlement. In part, the agreement stated, Whereas this agreement is made solely for the purpose of avoiding the time and expense of further protracted litigation. Tigani agreed that Watchtower benefited by conforming to the stipulations of the state of Delaware in lieu of a protracted public trial. Evidence presented on both sides, including depositions from the two witness elders, clearly pointed to gross infraction of Delaware law. The progressive nature of Delaware's punitive measures for violation of mandatory reporting laws comes on the heels of the worst case of child sexual abuse in the United States history. Pediatrician Earl Bradley was sentenced to 7 consecutive life terms plus 165 years in prison for the molestation of hundreds of child patients whose average age was 3. The Bradley case was so egregious that Attorney General Beau Biden abandoned his bid for the father's vacated Senate seat to funnel all energies into the prosecution of this case. As Delaware prosecuted and jailed the notorious Bradley, lawmakers began to question how this man could have abused so many children for more than a decade, evading detection and prosecution. In 2010, Governor Jack Markell commissioned the Dean of Widener University Law School, Linda L. Ammons, to investigate what went wrong and to itemize necessary changes. One key discovery involved the lack of proper reporting of abuse allegations to law enforcement or other state officials. Under the topic Mandatory Reporters, Ammons stated, "It is my finding that no law enforcement agency, health professional, or anyone else reported the allegations regarding Dr. Bradley to any administrative or regulatory body in accordance with the current Delaware law." Family of victims were shocked to discover that the allegations against Bradley stemmed back to 1994 in Pennsylvania, where the doctor had completed his residency. Lawyers of bureaucracy stymied the reporting process. Plausible deniability was contagious, and without enforcement of reporting laws, organizations, members of clergy, and ordinary citizens are without incentive to abide by these statutes. Professor Amnon made numerous recommendations to the Governor of Delaware, including the following: increased penalties for violating the mandatory reporting requirements in the Medical Practice Act. Delaware agreed. Enforceable penalties were signed into law. Delaware Code 914 states, "Whoever violates this law shall be liable for a civil penalty not to exceed $10,000 for the first violation and not to exceed $50,000 for any subsequent violation." This code enforcement is not limited to medical practices field. In fact, every Delaware citizen expected to report regardless of their occupation. The Professional's Guide to Reporting Child Abuse and Neglect says, "Professional reports are often referred to as mandated reporters, although all citizens of Delaware are required to report child abuse and neglect. So it's a full community reporting, and religion's not exempt." Jehovah's Witnesses elders Joel M. and William Perkins were found liable both as professional mandated reporters and as citizens of the state of Delaware. The congregation body of elders was also named as a responsible party. The settlement. In addition to financial penalties paid, the Laurel Congregation Body of Elders required to attend the Stewards of Children's Training Program, an initiative sponsored by the Beau Biden Foundation for the Protection of Children. The Biden Foundation is a non-profit organization created in 2015 to further the goals of the late Biden in ensuring that children are afforded every possible protection from predators. I spoke to a representative of the Stewards of Children program who confirmed that their educational materials have been sanctioned by courts across the United States on the basis of competent, peer-reviewed research. The third and final settlement term involved a multi-part affidavit signed by Laurel Coordinator of Bodies of Elders and distributed to all congregations within the state of Delaware. Terms included as follows: communications with individuals involving acts of abuse shall not be considered as religious confessions. Communications with minors involving acts of abuse shall not be considered as religious confessions. Elders and the congregation will comply with the law in accordance with the 2 items above. A copy of a signed and notarized affidavit will be prepared will be provided by Jehovah's Witnesses attorneys to all congregations within the state of Delaware. While Jehovah's Witnesses have been forced to comply with the terms of this settlement, there is no evidence to suggest that this organization will participate in the mandatory training programs in other states or countries. Currently, witness policy dictates that the first notification of allegations of child abuse must be made by local elders to the Jehovah's Witnesses Legal Department in Paterson, New York. This policy was a profound chilling effect upon justice for victims and protection of the community. Once their legal department advises elders whether they are in a mandatory reporting state or not, the call is handed over to the service department, also located in Paterson. These men advise local elders of their internal judicial responsibilities, such as whether to disfellowship a minor deemed as a willing participant in sexual acts. Nowhere in Watchtower literature are victims or others encouraged to immediately contact civil authorities when allegations of abuse become known. By design, Jehovah's Witnesses are trained to regard local elders as the primary authority, particularly when any sexual contact is discovered between two unmarried persons. A precedent has been set. Delaware's lawsuit against Jehovah's Witnesses has broken the barrier which has until now protected churches from prosecution for failure to report child abuse. Thank goodness. In 2006, the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office recommended that charges be filed against Catholic Bishop Daniel Walsh. Walsh failed to file a timely report upon discovery that Catholic priest XO sexually abused at least 3 boys, the youngest being 12. The delay in deporting gave Ocho the time he needed to escape to Mexico, according to the San Francisco Journal. If prosecutors decide to charge Walsh, the case would appear to mark the first time a U.S. Catholic Church official has faced criminal prosecution for failing to properly report sexual abuse. That's just happened in Australia as well. Charges were dropped, however, in lieu of a plea agreement in which Bishop Walsh was required to attend a 4-month counselling program. The state of Delaware did not back down so quickly in its case against the Jehovah's Witnesses, leaving Watchtower attorneys little choice but to settle the case on Delaware's terms. Other states may soon follow suit, including Pennsylvania, where police are investigating the abuse of a 4-year-old Abby Hawth in 2005. The assault occurred inside the local Kingdom Hall and was reported to congregation elders by the victim's father, Martin Hoff. Local elders did not contact law enforcement. The terms of Delaware's settlement stipulated that once Jehovah's Witnesses paid the agreed-upon fines, the state would dismiss civil action with prejudice. The settlement agreed was obtained by filing a Freedom of Information Act request, and this was written by John Redwood. Thank you, John. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison. Bye for now.
Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like. Maybe even comment. If you watch it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.